sex. A lot of men don't understand about it because they're looking at it from their own lens.
It's a two-person thing. It's not a one-person thing.
Exactly. You got to learn this, and you're not going to learn it from graphic videos that you see on the internet.
Like, well, my man's not getting me like turned on to like do the thing. It takes more for a woman to get in the mood than it does for a man.
Do you like softer, harder, faster, slower, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, or let me see how you do it. You have to actually devote some time to understand it as a man. So, all right. The next one, step 5, the last step.
I thought you had 6.
Well, there's an option.
That's like an asterisk.
It's like an asterisk, yeah. So 5 is sex. Okay.
Surprise.
Surprise.
I knew it had to be in there somewhere.
Right. Again, the first 5 have to be done first, right?
You better say that one more time for
but
clarification.
Then to really solidify and improve the relationship, if you didn't understand what you're doing in the first 5, first 4, I can almost guarantee that you're messing up in the 5th one, right? Because once you understand that women and men are different and how they view things are different, then you can understand how to get better at sex, at pleasing a woman, right? I think this is important. A lot of women complain about this. That a lot of relationships it's not the primary thing. It's the other things that we talked about. But now you're ready to start improving in this area. So I think as a man, a lot of men don't really invest very much in understanding how to actually please a woman. Because it's, again, if you think like a man and you think the same...
You're like, oh, it's easy.
Right. You're going to think, okay, well, I can just get turned on very quickly or very visually turned on, right? Where it's like, you know, a woman's engine takes longer to rev up, right? And then also you might think, well, you know, as things progress, harder and faster is better. Like, and whereas women are more like, as things progress, constant, don't change anything, right? It's like, so there's a lot of things that a lot of men don't understand about it because they're looking at it from their own lens.
Well, we've talked about this too, that like even with men, when they orgasm, it's a very smaller window than a woman has.
Right.
So, you know, women want things consistent because if you do something right, that gets her pretty far up the scale. She's gonna be like, keep doing that.
Right. Right.
Because you could try something new and it's more down here. You could try something else that's kind of in the middle, but that thing still does that. Whereas with guys, it's not as much variance. So, and even if you're doing various things, you can still probably land on the scale somewhere similar.
Right. Yeah.
So it makes sense why it's like that. But again, it's something that you can't just take your experience, man or woman, and then apply it to the thing. You have to, you know, obviously think of your other partner and things that you enjoy too, but it's a two-person thing. It's not a one-person thing.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's so many things we could talk about, you know, we won't, but it's like even just a lot of men don't even understand that when they are trying so hard to give a woman an orgasm, it's actually making it where she's stressed out about it because women are thinking, I don't want this guy to be disappointed. And so they're thinking more about that than actually relaxing. And so it makes it hard. And then that's when the shoulder tap comes in. Is like, okay, all right, slugger, get up here. You're time. You're out. You're out. You've been tagged out. You know, that's the guys that get the shoulder tap. That's why you're getting the shoulder tap is because you're making it too pressury. You're you know, so there's a lot, right? There's a lot of guys think that they're good at sex and they understand it, but they really don't. You know what I mean? And again, you got to learn this. And if you haven't actually invested the time to learn it, and you're not going to learn it from the graphic videos that you see on the internet, that's not, you know, you have to actually learn this. That will greatly, you know, we talked about this in another episode, not to, you know, make this like the magic bullet you should rely on. But if you can be that guy and you can be really good at this, a lot of other things might not matter so much. Like you could probably be pretty shitty and you're still gonna.
Don't say that.
I'm not suggesting that you should, but I'm just saying she's probably gonna stay with you because, so.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Don't
what
give
I'm
them
saying.
that idea.
I'm just, I gotta
I
be
know what
honest,
you're
but
trying to
I
say.
get- you get what I'm trying
But
to
don't
say.
tell them they could be shitty and just.
Look, that's why
be
we
good at
went through the
sex.
other steps first. So.
That's right. That's right.
But this one is important, right?
Yeah, it is, especially because that's how men connect. And,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's not about men or they can't be focused on what they want to, but what good is being physically intimate if it's just about one person? Because I don't think men would like it very much if a woman just took control and just did whatever she wanted and maybe left him high and dry.
Right.
And I don't think, that a woman would appreciate that either. So it's like, it can't just be about one person. You have to keep everybody into consideration and talk about things and, try different things and be open with each other.
Yeah. And like I said, the two biggest reasons why women aren't interested in sex is number one is because they lack the emotional connection. Mm-hmm. And number two is because they're not getting, it's not a fun experience for them.
Right. I saw one comment from a woman and she was saying something. I think it was when the clip that said, you're obligated to have sex with your partner. And she was like, well, my man's not getting me like turned on to like do the thing, which, it's not to blame the man, but like you said, it takes more for a woman to get in the mood than it does for a man. And, a man should want to get his woman in the mood. That should
exactly. Yeah.
He should have pride in that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. And even just the little things like the touch and how to touch. Mm-hmm. It's not something that you would just figure out on your own unless you actually study and really realize what, because it is a lot different than what.
But what should they study?
I mean, the easiest thing to do is to ask, right? And not have your ego in it, right? To be like, do you like softer or harder, faster or slower, right? Or let me see how you do it, right? These are, it seems like pretty obvious things, but if your ego's in it, then you think you know what you're doing and you're just attacking that thing and it's not it's not going to produce the result that you think that it's going to produce, right? And the warm-up sequence is a longer warm-up sequence than I would guarantee you 90% of the guys, the warm-up sequence is not
Some it's probably non-existent,
but they don't realize what it is, right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So there's a lot to it. Like it's something that you do have to actually devote some time to understanding as a man, because it's not simple.
But you'll be glad you did if you do it.
And also a lot of women are different too.
That's true.
There's less variation in men in the actions and motions and whatnot, but there is way more difference in women, way more variety.
That makes sense, because a lot of women never even have an orgasm at all.
Right.
That's sad.
Right. It's true.
But yeah, so it is going to be a lot different. And like you said, the best thing is to ask, because different people like different things.